course, you'll need a set-top box, a digital set-top box to catch ABC2 Channel 21. If you spend about $100 for a set-top box, it's well worth it, let me tell you that. Well, this game here at South Adelaide by 18 points at half-time over the Eagles, but we're going across to Ben Knights to talk about the match there between Port and Norwood. And Ben, you'd be very happy that it's all the Redlegs.
Well, that's right, Neil. It certainly has been all the Redlegs so far. They're up by 54 points at half-time, and they've really dominated Port Adelaide in the first half. As we know, Port Adelaide coming last week off a thumping from Central Districts of 82 points. It's not looking good for Port Adelaide and John Cale at the moment.
And Ben,
that quarter we saw Blackgo kick 3 goals, the recruit from Glenelg, who really just tore Port apart up forward, and Port have struggled to find defensive men to cover the tools of Norwood at the moment. That was Blackgo's first of the quarter, and Norwood, you see Stephen Bailey there on Scott Stevens. Bailey's actually giving up a fair bit of height, but Stevens had to come down back to cover one of Norwood's tools because they just didn't have the men to cover Norwood. So that was Clive Waterhouse's 1 goal. And Port Adelaide just haven't found forward targets apart from Clive Waterhouse, and he's kicked 1 goal, 1 point, and 1 out in the full. So he's not having the most consistent day.
And Ben, just in terms of confidence, is that a major issue for Port Adelaide from what you see in terms of the body language?
They just don't really seem to back themselves in, so the confidence must be a major factor. I don't know if the thumping last week's really affected that. You'd think they'd try and bounce back and come back from a demoralising defeat like that. And against Norwood, who are 8th, and they know they don't have the best record, you'd think Port would just have really put on much more of a show than they have so far in that first half.
We see there the score, Norwood 12-6-78 to 3-6-24, a margin of 54 points at half-time, and we'll be back and forward to Ben Knights in the second half, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any let-up, Ben, just the constant pressure from Norwood.
Yeah, certainly right, Neil. At the moment, Port just don't look as though they can get in the game, and Norwood's on balls getting far too much of the football, and Port just can't find a forward option apart from Clive Waterhouse, who has been reasonably well held by Joel Patfull. All
right, I'm sure you'll enjoy the second half. As I said, we'll be back and forward to Ben Knights at the Norwood Oval. Quick update, half-time scores from other grounds. At Prospect, Central District, 14-7-91, leading North Adelaide 3-3-21 at half-time. A margin there of 70 points. I think the Dogs are back.
You'd have to say Centrals are back, aren't you?
And Sturt, 8-10-58, leading Glenelg 5-5-35 at half-time by 23 points at Unley Sturt, another side that's hit back pretty hard and ready for the second half here at the Woodville Oval, and Michael Maney will take up the call.
Yes, and the Doggies really back. Third quarter about to get underway. What a game we've had so far at Woodville Oval. South by 3 goals. In goes Smith, the acting captain for South Adelaide today. His kick will be chopped off by Mackenzie. Floriani will still be matched up with Davey by the looks of things. That's been working for Ron Fuller all day. Matthew Stokes takes it at half-back for the Eagles. The Treby-Smith matchup will continue. Stokes kicks down the line, thumped away by Parry. And no one can get out of that mad scramble. Chris Hall with a vice-like grip on Chris Knights. Knights, a damaging player in the second quarter, really started to get a bit more of the football. Colville taken to ground by Fleming, and the ball held in. Tim Fleming thought he had a free kick there. Anxious Eagle supporter, as they all would be, I would think. Down by 3 goals at half-time, but they can come with a rush. Fiacci tackled well, and it's just a bit of a game of inches here at the moment. A lot of players around the football. Chris Knights just jammed it on the boot. Westbrook and Daly, and it's out of bounds on the outer side wing. A minute gone. No change to that half-time score. Good crowd in. Good day for football. Nick, you'd love to be out there today. You'd like to have been there this morning whacking the old nugget on the boots, wouldn't you?
You'd certainly like to be, but tomorrow morning get out of bed might be different. But you see, Passador must still be off with that groin injury or something. I think O'Hara's playing up forward there again, so Bennett's gone to him.
You're spot on there, Nick. Passador has a problem. It's actually in the hamstring, a bit of hamstring cramping, so he won't be on the ground for the rest of the game. So Eagles down to 2 fit men on the bench.
Mid-air kick by Davis, got it to the centre of the ground. Smith brought it to his team's advantage. Hall with the hand pass. Westbrook laid a big bump. And Davis is hurt, or rather Fleming is hurt behind play. We'll come back to that. Tucky! Nice mark, nice stretch. And Fleming is really struggling at the back end of the centre square. Westbrook hit him hard with a hip and shoulder. Tucky goes inside forward 50. Warren at the back was held, play on, and finally Hall just rushes it across the line. And that is Tim Fleming, who is struggling, as I said. Perhaps a corky he might have received. Let's have another look at how it happened. Just off the ball to the right there, bang.
Corky on the hip there, I think, which can be pretty painful. He's going to try to run it out, but he's hobbling around at the minute.
Wigley's kick looking for Treby. Free kick against Smith for a bit of shepherding right on the wing. On the broadcast side of the ground, Treby finds Watts, who just got a yard or two on Forster Knight. Quickly to Chris Knights. Back to Wigley. Wigley goes to Rugolo. Too far for him. Hately did okay. McGlone somehow got it away to Hately, who just jammed it on the boot, didn't look. Lindsay always looking for the handball. Cicolella, that's an interesting play, Justin. Goes away to Lindsay. Lindsay kicks and finds Simmons. Hately with the pressure. Gee, I've been impressed with him in the last couple of weeks. Always impressed with Watts, who gets it to Simmons. And someone dealt with after he got rid of it. I think it might be come back to Simmons. Held a little bit too long in the tackle. Goes to Rugolo. Rugolo kicks. Westbrook there, bumped it away. Hately just seems to have it on a string to Clinton King, who kicks it to half-back. Now Newbury's out of the contest and has to give one, and gives away a free kick to the red-headed Gavin Colville, who is in some trouble. He's done a knee or he's done an ankle. Or does he have cramp? I wouldn't have thought so when he's just back on the ground, but that is trouble if you're an Eagles supporter and if you're Gavin Colville. Boys, keep an eye on that while we go with the flow of play. Clinton King got it away to Neagle. Neagle away to Newbury. Neagle again on the right boot, I should say, and marked by Floriani. There's Gavin Colville, seems like he's okay. Floriani kicks, marked by Westbrook, by Simmons, I should say. Simmons pumps it in, looking for Lindsay. Bennett's at the back, uses McGlone with a bit of pace. Squeezes the kick out to Smith, too far for him, but it goes to Hall. Hall with a lovely loping handball to Davis, who's got a kick with his left boot. He kicks it high. Tucky loves these, but he goes too early out of the contest, and a free kick will go to Mark McKenzie. That's been an interesting matchup all day, Nick.
It certainly has been. There's a great leap there by Tucky again, but nowhere near the ball, unfortunately. And I think Gavin Colville was just cramped, which is his first game back, so that may be understandable, but it doesn't look good for him in the second half.
O'Hara copping one in the eye just here from Hall accidentally as he prepared to concede the free kick, and somewhere or somebody has said something perhaps, and so it's a 25-metre penalty. Richard Williams taking the mark back to around about 70 metres out from the Eagles' goals. And O'Hara, question here is whether he could take the free kick or not, and being a ruckman, they prefer that he doesn't take the free kick. Fiachi shares the ball with Powell, who goes long. South Adelaide should have some defence back there. You'd think there was plenty of break before he took the kick. Fleming, that's his first kick since he went down injured, and he didn't react too well, having got rid of the ball. Here's Hall, boots it away. Fiachi belts it back inside 50 again. Numbers again with South Adelaide. It falls to Cicolella, and he kicks a goal.
Well, that's the class of Justin Cicolella, isn't it? You know, he read it off the pack beautifully, didn't rush it, took the step around the player. Here we go, Fiachi getting it in quick. Again, that quick movement in the forward line. Yeah, very clever by Cicolella there, just dodged around him, made sure he wasn't going to get it smothered, and then finished off with a great goal. He's a very balanced, strong player. 13 possessions for Justin Cicolella today, only headed on his team by Chris Knights and Peter Fiachi with 14.
Just an update on Timmy Fleming, who copped that knock on the hip. The interchange was actually put to the steward, but Timmy said, no, I'm fine, he's going to keep moving. But I say by tomorrow morning, he will be very sore.
Ball out of the centre. O'Hara to Stokes. Just over the top of Watson, Forster Knight. Forster Knight got it back to McGlone. Newbury. Well done by Forster Knight. Back to McGlone, who kicked to the wing and found Love. He's found Love. So he's happy with it. He kicks to Tucky. Tucky can't take the mark. McKenzie, who backs himself, does okay. Took it out of his vice-captain's clutches. The handball away to Peter Fiacci. Eagles on a roll. Here's Powell. Powell will thump it long. He's got Rugolo on the lead. And Vinny can't take the mark. Ball hits the deck. Forced it up with some body on Inkster. Got it away to Neagle. Neagle with that left foot. They'll have to run into space. And the chip kick is okay to Hakely, who uses Newbury. Newbury, next kick, important. And Tucky just takes it inside, does he, or not? Now, the boundary umpire said it was out of bounds. And then he decides to say, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'll just go back and let you have a kick, Brent Tucky. He goes long, inside 50. Warren gives away the free kick to Stephen Hall. Advantage rule paid as Cicolella finds Peter Fiacci. Peter Fiacci to Westbrook and Colville off the ground. So a blow to the Eagles. Westbrook pumps it long. Here's King. He'll need to get involved. Eyes on the football. Did okay. Waits for the lead. Looks like it's kick it to Vinny or bust. Well done, Neagle. McGlone just off a step. Hacks it out of there. Hakely and Simmons have got to go for it. Simmons just in front. Can he keep it before it goes to the line? No, he can't. Boundary throw in. This game has gone up a notch or two, Nick.
Certainly has. McGlone and Hakely are doing a great job drifting across in South's back line there and stopping a lot of Eagles' entries. So good young talent there coming through in the back line.
Matthew Clark surveying the scene as he prepares to come on in ruck for South Adelaide. Interesting that he has played the qualifying number of matches to be ready for the finals for South Adelaide. That's important for them as Powell clears for the Eagles from the back down to centre wing again. Here's Knights, was clever, broke a tackle. Hand pass forward, that wasn't clever. Westbrook's gone. Managed to release the ball to Knights, who in turn gave it to Watts. Now Wigley, he's taken and gone. South Adelaide working hard. Oh, and Newbury just turned the ball over again. Now Watts, you reckon it's not tough to get a kick out there? Finally, umpire will come in and we'll get a ball up. Oh, scrambling, rambling play that went down that outer wing for about 20 metres. Gavin Colville taking a seat on the bench, and here's where it got all too much for him in the end with just cramp in that left calf. And considering we're only just after half-time, he's missed a bit of footy. Bad signs for the Eagles as Cicolella takes it off the pack and away to the right with his kick.
Certainly coming into the game against Cicolella there. Another shot on goal. Be disappointed that he didn't finish it off there.
Top ball goes for South at this stage. King 19, Fleming 16, 14 each to Hall and Davis.
Ian Mogridge, our statistician, who had a big, bold prediction at the start of this match. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Long kick outside of defensive 50 and over the top, Lindsay. Umpire Peter Williams a little bit slow to blow the whistle. The mark paid. Here's Cicolella. He's getting dangerous. To Rugolo! He's got a fan club, Vinny, and they will stand and applaud if he goes back and slots this from 40. And it just seems that they'll go to Rugolo on the lead most times in this quarter, Nick, by the looks of things.
He's been leading hard, and there's been space for him to run into too. So if you can get the delivery right like that, he's normally a pretty good kick as well.
He normally is a good kick, and he didn't let you down, Nick.
It didn't look that great off the boot, and I thought, oh no, we've put the mockers on him again. But again, Cicolella set that up. Lindsay with a contested mark there, then gets it over to Cicolella, who has got beautiful skills. And then finished off Rugolo with a lovely leg. He's the man who's doing that leading like a Passador May, and O'Hara sitting back waiting for the long one to come in.
You wonder how much Fleming's got left in the tank after that hit that he took, because he's Cicolella's man. King, Kenner out of the middle for South Adelaide. Now the contest has been interesting all day, and Tucky wins this one against McKenzie. Tucky, Warren wants to get on the lead, instead he doubles back. Hall holds in, play on, could have left it, and it would have been a goal. Instead, touched across the line. Benny Knights is at the Norwood Oval. Have they resumed over there, Benny?
They certainly have resumed, and Port Adelaide have come out firing, as you'd probably expect from them. And they just go in, and Jeremy Clayton goes and kicks his second. They've kicked 6 goals this quarter, and they're back to within 24 points. So Port are coming back.
What a game. Ben Knight's at the parade, a high-scoring affair with the Magpies getting back into it as Smith and also Stokes get into it across the line. Boundary throw in, and the Eagles back to within a straight kick of levelling things up. Good game at Woodville Oval, first versus third. Stokes got through some traffic, jammed it on the boot. Tucky's got to sit and wait, and he's pretty good at that. No 50-metre penalty or 25-metre penalty against Chris Knights for just dashing off with the ball. Tucky pumps it long, hoping for a mark. Who can get involved here? Pack flies. Floriani uses Sikalella. He's been outstanding today, Sika. It goes away to Powell. Powell on a full burst. He'll look for Watts. Watts presents well, and the kick was a beauty. Watts on the wing, long way from goal. Eagles pressing forward. Inkster presents. Newbury got in the way. Terrific play. McGlone, handball just hung in the air. Forster Knight saw that was danger. Love just gave it away, coughed it up to Simmons, who just tripped over a couple and can't break clear. What a game we have. It has really gone up a couple of notches in intensity, and some anxious Panther fans there. They hold on by 6 at the moment.
Well, I'd be getting a little bit anxious too, I think. Like Powell starting to come into the game, Sikalella, the Eagles midfielders now are starting to control the footy a lot more.
Sikalella will be disappointed with that kick. Could hardly have been worse, out on the full. Free kick taken by King. Just a chip to McGlone. Off the right foot. Boy, he's a good player, McGlone, off both sides of the body. That was touched. Tucky didn't care. It was another mark, he thought. He quickly disposes of it. It's down towards Warren. This time he leads out, leads his man to the ball. Davey looked like he was held. Soccer! And a bad bounce. Alwyn Davey. Well, you can't blame Floriani for hanging on to him. I mean, how would you catch him if you let him go?
That's the situation Floriani would be dreading for sure. He's so quick. As you can see, did it well though, Floriani. Didn't drag him back, but lucky in the end to get away with not a goal being kicked against him.
Eagles on the break to the wing to Sikalella. He's knocking up getting possessions. Ian Mogridge, Sikalella.
Yeah, Sikalella, that's his 20th possession. 7 kicks this quarter already.
Amazing quarter for him. Hard ball to be won. In goes Clark. Got it to Clinton King, quick hands. Back to Smith. Smith chips it up to McGlone, who Neil Cross said is outstanding from half-back. This time he'll use the right boot and squares it up and finds Hall. He had Colville there. He gets around the skipper for the Eagles and kicks, looking for the loping Tucky. He looks like he's on the treadmill at the moment, Tucky. He's done some hard work. He overruns the footy and it goes out of bounds. Tucky just looked like he was spent. He was going nowhere. He was just plodding. He's done some top work in this term, Brent Tucky.
Good to see Colville back on the field. Stokes has come off. He's been used off the bench a bit too, so you wonder if he's carrying something as well.
Fleming's off down there, Mark.
Yes, he is, and we'll just keep an eye on to see whether he puts some ice on that hip, because that's normally a sign that his day is just about over. And Matty Stokes did come into the game with a bit of a query over a hamstring, so well picked, Chiggy.
Thanks, Soda.
McGlone is back of the wing. Long kick. Clark can't get involved in it at all. Stephen Hall, and as he does so beautifully well with all those years of experience, able to fumble that ball to the line.
Well, you think he's had a pretty good day, I think. You know,
Yep.
Warren's kicked a couple, is it?
Yep, 2.
So you'd say Hall would be pretty happy with that at the moment.
9 possessions to Scott McGlone this quarter.
And terrific. So too this man, Simmons. Westbrook on a full burst. Tucky's got him collared. Smith. Bouncing ball. Davey and Floriani. Floriani outstanding to Lindsay. To Wigley, who sets it up. Westbrook's got to keep his eyes on it. Oh, tremendous work by Daly, who got his body in front and took a lovely mark on the wing.
Daly then squares it quickly. Forster Knight, or rather Miller it is. I'll tell you a story about Mark Miller in a minute as he drives for Warren on the lead, taken down, play on, called the umpire. They'll go back in and try and pick it up. It comes clear. off the right foot, Inkster, looking for Westbrook, came from the side, McGlone got him away from the ball, takes his time again, left-handed hand pass, sent up Hall, was good enough to get it away, now Miller again, releases it out the back to McGlone, he looks like he's travelling up and down and not very far forward, not the greatest of hand passes, Inkster will be taken to ground, well done by King, and he still holds on, and still they hold on. It comes back to Lindsay. Lindsay drives it up the half forward. Foot race. Watts versus Forster Knight. Thumped it forward the ladder. And Colville will pick it up. Colville in turn can release Knights. Opts to go by right foot. Inside half forward Josh King. And he can line up. Oh, just relentless at times, the Eagles, aren't they?
Certainly are, and as we've mentioned, midfield getting on top. King's probably dropped out of a bit for South, who was really dominant in that last quarter, in the second quarter, in the first half, really. So they just need to try to close the Eagle midfield down.
Josh King lines it up. Oh, he's got a big hoof under that, and just away to the left for the minor score.
Yes, bit of a lull there. Like the Eagles have certainly, you'd say, got the momentum at the moment. So South just got to try to lock it down, play that one-on-one footy again, and get back where they were doing the first quarter, just making it real scrappy.
Forster Knight to Miller. Now that's a 50-50 ball. And they turn it over, and Treby. And a terrific duel between Smith and Treby. Treby kicks it long, hoping for a mark. Watts and Forster Knight. Forster Knight got a fingernail on it to Bennett. This is McGlone on the left boot this time. Treby may take it again. Hately came in with a challenge. Taken by Treby, stolen out the back. He kicks it high. Who can mark it? Westbrook was there. Brugolo does the scouting, and his kick looking for Watts. Kept it in beautifully, Watts. But good work by Forster Knight. That has been an outstanding duel between those two. Lovely pick-up by Vinnie Rugolo.
Yeah, Rugolo certainly added something since he's gone forward. He's looked dangerous when he's leading out.
There's Ron on the gum. They've all got the sponsorship with the chewing gum companies, I'm sure, and it's against Lindsay in that ruck contest. And Clark will get it. Clark needs to lift for the Panthers. They need to get that ball down to their running brigade because they've not stopped to a walk, but the Eagles are really starting to dominate. McGlone got it into Bennett. Now they can normally set it up from half back. Bennett decides to pump it long to that Tucky versus McKenzie matchup. Tucky couldn't take the mark, and the ball locked in underneath.
Michael Elwyn-Davies been taken from the ground by Pyman, replaced with Parry. So that made life tough for Ron because Floriani was actually picking up Davey. So Brett O'Hara has been forced back onto Parry.
Thanks, Mark. Well spotted. Newbury just hacks it. McKenzie beat off a couple. Got it to Wigley. Wigley's long kick. Inkster can't get a run at it. Well done, Hately. You heard the call. Tommy. Can't get it out. Ball up, 20 minutes gone. Panthers fans on the edge of their seats. They lead by 7 points. And the SANFL on ABC. What a lovely little shot that is.
McGlone, position number 100 this quarter. He seems like he's got his own ball. Hately now off half back, up towards half forward. Coming late was McKenzie in space, drives it up to half forward. It's a battle at the moment. Which side's going to break? Knights in space, just got the kick away ahead of Nagel. It's into space. Bennett did well. Tapped it to his own advantage. Released the ball to McGlone. Why not? I mean, he just got his own ball. Fair dinkum. It's off to the Eagles, though. They've come back the other way. Now Knights approaching 50. Chris Knights thinks about it. Decides to go to a lead that wasn't there. It goes over the back. Eventually be rushed through. South Adelaide just rushing through that score. Daly, the player, going back there. Across the Norwood Oval. And keeping us up to date for ABC television is Benny Knights. What's the story, Ben?
Well, Neil, it's a very different story to half-time, as I said before. Norwood are only leading by 18 points after Port have kicked 7 goals in this quarter. Norwood have only kicked the 1. And to make things worse for Norwood, Tim Nicholas, who's been doing very well in the ruck, has gone off with an ankle injury.
Ben Knights at the parade. What a game there. Port Adelaide coming back. This game is a scorcher. Hall on the wing. Oh, surely a free kick for a throw. Clark got it to Smith. kicked around the body. Which way will it bounce? Always going to be awkward for Powell. Newbury, lovely tackle by Floriani. It spills to Love. Love, draw the handball too fierce for Tucky. It may be okay to Davis. Davis jams it on the boot. Who can take a mark? Warren's there. He normally grabs them. He can't this time. And the ball runs out of bounds. Well, Warren, there's Ron. That's about as angry as we've seen him for a while, Ronnie Fuller. He wants the Eagles to push forward. And they've got to stop this goal from South Adelaide. He wouldn't like a goal here. They've done a lot of hard work to get right back in this game. O'Hara and Parry. It spills to Kenner across the body. Well done by Hall. Here comes Warren. He just handballs it away. Davis snaps and misses. It's 5 points the difference. One straight kick from the Eagles, and they can be in front for the first time this afternoon.
Again, Hall doing a good job on Warren there, forcing him back out of position. Then Davis unlucky not to finish off with a goal. South has certainly picked back up again in the last 5. We've got a real contest on our hands here.
Tucky pulls down the big man, Lindsay, who goes back and gives it to his fellow big man, and O'Hara releases the ball forward. Peter Fiacci just driving it up McGlone. Wouldn't you know it? Just for a change, takes a mark across half-back. Can spread it wide. Haley's in space. Haley can take off. That's what he does. Goes down looking for Davis. Davis makes good position to the ball. Turns inside. He's got Kenner. Kenner can go to his left leg if he wants. He's going to take on Cicolella. Kenner just drives it long and high. Not the greatest of advantages for Warren, who almost grabbed it, though. Now Parry through traffic. Got the ball forward. Goal coming up, you'd think, or was it? Way on the umpire. And Hall has kicked a goal.
Well, that's certainly a bit of a settler that South wanted. The Eagles have been pushing pretty hard all quarter and have probably looked the better team. But getting it in there quickly. It's the contest in the forward again. Coming out of the back. Yeah, great work there. Just bustling through the pack. And a bit lucky in the end, Chris Hall, you'd have to say, but had the desired result. And kicks a goal. The settler South Adelaide certainly needed.
We go, O'Hara couldn't quite get the arms down quick enough. Hall kicks his first. It's back out to 11 points. Floriani for the Eagles. Got it back to Simmons. Eagles not out of this contest by a long shot. They only trail by less than 2 straight kicks taken by Watts. Watts kicks it inside 50. King's got a fly over the back. Taken by Bennett. Does okay. Got it out to Newbury. He's got Forster Knight that he can go short to. Nothing much else, so he goes with the handball to Forster Knight. His handball over the top is a hospital one. Davis has got to get it away. It's okay. Newbury got it again. Just jammed it on the boot, looking for Tucky. Can't take the mark, no push. Umpire says play on. Not a bad call. Stephen Hall got it to Floriani. Back to McKenzie. This is Peter Fiacci, who sits it out in front of Watts. But both he and Forster Knight can't hook it in. Boundary throw in, 24, nearly 25 minutes gone. Panthers fans would have liked that last goal from Chris Hall. There's Fergus Watts, who's been going at it with Rob Forster Knight all afternoon. One of the good jewels of this season, you'd have to say. Park got it down. Inkster tries to push off Davis. Can't do so. Lindsay threw himself forward. Clinton King, who's gone out of it just a little bit. His high kick sitting under it, Floriani. He'll sit under anything, John Floriani. Frightened of nothing. He's done a tremendous job and had Davey taken off the ground. And Davey is a very good player. Floriani from the wing, boots it forward. Ball thumped away. Peter Fiacci very quick to get it on the boot. Didn't quite go 15 metres. Taken by Cicolella. We know he can use the football well. He goes to Rugolo, and he takes the mark. Well, that's been a good move by Ronnie Fuller to put Vinnie Rugolo up forward. It's a second mark out on the lead he's taken. And he'll go back and shoot from 47 metres out on a slight angle. This will bring it back to that 5-point margin.
Very important kick here from Vinny, and as we've said, it's been very damaging since going forward. It's going to be after the siren too.
Rugolo kicks and doesn't make the distance. So it's 3/4 time at Woodville Oval. What a game of football we have had. 3/4 time. South 9-10-64. Lead the Eagles 7-9-51.
Yeah, Vinny Rugolo will be very disappointed with that result in the end. He let out beautifully and should have kicked off, finished off with a goal, would have put the Eagles right back in the game. Not that they're out of it. There's certainly a great game of footy here at three-quarter time. It's going to be a pretty good last quarter.
Just look through those multiple goal kickers with Knights and Simmons with 2 each for the Eagles, and Clinton King with 3 for the Panthers, and Warren kicking 2. And those goals came in the first half. And 13 points the margin in favour of South Adelaide.
Well, you go through all the stats there. It's pretty much as you'd expect. There's nothing that really stands out there. Inside 50s, Eagles have certainly been in a little bit more than South, maybe the one that you look at there. But centre breaks, you can see South is winning it out of the centre, which is giving them first use.
Well, as we said, 13 points the margin, South Adelaide leading this one, and the story is slightly different at the Parade. Ben Knights, where Norwood were out by plenty at half-time, but Port Adelaide certainly fought back.
That's exactly right, Neil. Norwood out at 54 points at half-time. It's now back to 17 points. Port Adelaide have come back. They kicked 7 goals that quarter, 2 each to Clive Waterhouse and Jacob Surgeon. And for Norwood, they kicked 1 goal for the quarter, and this is what we're about to see. Chris Massey, a lovely snap. And that was at about the 3 or 4 minute mark of that third quarter. And since then, it's just been all Port. You'll see here plenty of Port highlights, including Surgeon, Waterhouse, the likes of Clayton coming through and getting a nice goal and picking up a lot of the football through the middle, where in the first half, Norwood's on ballers was so dominant.
And Ben, just a big bake, you reckon, from John Cale at half-time?
I would have had to have been, because like I said at half-time, coming off such a massive thumping last week, they just couldn't afford to come out here and get run over in the second half when Norwood just looked as though they were going to do exactly what Centrals did to them last week. So John Cale must have got into them, and they've certainly responded in this third quarter, and it's going to make it a fantastic last quarter, and Port are right in this.
And their midfield, Port Adelaide, obviously managed to peg back the Redlegs. You mentioned that the Redlegs were certainly dominant in that area of the ground.
Yeah, Norwood were killing them in the first half, sorry. Scott Borlase, Brett James, when you throw in the likes of Matthew Dawes, Tim Nicholas in ruck was really dominant. That quarter you had Jared Polton, Jacob Surgeon, 2 AFL experienced footballers, and the likes of Jeremy Clayton, who, as we know, has played a fair bit of AFL football as well. So maybe they're leaders and Browns and so forth have really stepped it up for John Cale and for Port Adelaide that quarter.
All right, well, thanks for that, Ben. 17 points the margin there at Norwood at three-quarter time, and we'll be back and forth during the last quarter here to Ben Knights. We're going now down to the South Adelaide huddle to have a listen to Rob Pyman.
Be smart about it. It's not all fucking running forward and all that sort of stuff.
Lockdown on sticker at the stoppages.
Okay. The other thing, with too many of us, all right, and Kingy, you're doing it that quarter, Lovey, you're doing it that quarter, get past the contest. Just get front and square. That's why you're getting so many possessions early, all right? Not the cheap ones out the side. Get front and square to the contest, all right?
Play in front of Floriani.
The second line of the zone. You guys in the second line. Who are you? Put your hand up. You, all right? You got to pull back. Like where you're sitting is about 20 metres out. They're just going over your head. They're just hitting everyone on the 50. You guys virtually start 5 metres inside the 50. Use that line as your gauge. It's 5 metres and on your toes ready to come in. All right?
Very instructional, Rob Pyman, but so does what have the Eagles and Ronnie Fuller been saying.
Well, they are pumped up over here, and there appeared to be a significant increase in both pressure and intensity in that term. Ronnie took his time to come down, so he left the players there for 3 or 4 minutes under the guidance of Gavin Colville, just to chat amongst themselves and really gee themselves up for this final term. When he came down, his message pretty much was just for the midfield to tighten up. He thinks that they are zoning off and giving the South midfielders a little bit too much opportunity. He wants them to increase the pressure. South have been good at putting pressure on the Eagles midfielders all day. He wants now his boys to return the compliment for this big final term.
So as we've seen it before, notably a few weeks ago when the Eagles played Glenelg. But what's your gut feeling in this match? Who's going to win?
Oh, look, I think the Eagles are certainly well in the mix. They do start slowly, and that's something they really need to look at. South are great starters, and it just takes the Eagles time to peg them back. I think it is, well, let's be obvious here. It's going to go right down to the wire, but the Eagles do have a good chance. They're on top of the ladder. They're 2 games clear. It's because they are a quality side, and I expect them to fight back. Good chance to run over the top of South.
Mark, the fence sitter, Soderstrom, thank you very much for that insight into the game. Scores from other grounds. Well, this match becomes more interesting for South Adelaide, that's for sure, because Central by 72 points over second place North Adelaide at Prospect. And Sturt, well, Glenelg slightly pegged them back. They're back to 14. That'd make you as an ex-Tiger very happy.
Well, it certainly does, but it's still going to be hard to beat Sturt out there. They're in front in the last quarter, so... but we've got a great game here, and I'm with Sodas. I'm sitting on the fence a bit, but I still think the Eagles have a very good chance to come back and take the game.
I'm sure Joey Pedler, who's sidelined by injury at the moment, thinks so, and he's with Sodas down on the boundary.
Well, Joey, a good third term there. What was Ronnie's message during half-time?
I just think he wants a really keen approach, enthusiasm from the boys, and just tackle hard. That's always our measuring point, so hard tackling.
We noticed it's been a great year for the Eagles so far this year, but just the slow starts again are a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I don't know, not sure what the problem is. We keep dissecting it at training, but just can't seem to find the answer just yet. Maybe just the guys are just a little bit quiet in nature. I think that's probably a problem we need to overcome, definitely.
And you've missed last week and this week with your hamstring. When will you be back?
Hopefully be back next week, but just got to get through training this week.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks, mate.
Joey Pedler, reserves premiership captain for the Eagles in 2000. Ronnie Fuller. Interesting coaching dilemma this afternoon. He's really been tested by Robbie Pyman.
It's been a great battle, and as we've said, they've used the interchange bench a lot today and throwing big men forward, so it gives us a bit of a size difference there. So it's been a great encounter by both of these guys off the field, and they'd both be sitting pretty happy at the moment, thinking they're a good chance to win the game.
Well, we'll see how it pans out. Here's Michael Maney with the call of the final term.
Set up for a fantastic finish here at Woodville. First versus third. It's had everything today. Low-scoring third term. That premiership quarter when sides try to get away and make the play. But South by 13 points. What will unfold in the final term? SNFL football on ABC television has been outstanding today. Lindsay roved his own tap, jammed it on the right boot. Peter Fiacci attacks it with fervour, taken by Treby to Winkster. Touch ball, Cicolella tried to take it with him. Stokes is there. Westbrook got it out to Peter Fiacci. First goal will be important. They go for it. Stokes couldn't take it. McGlone decides to go for the line. Will it have the legs? It does, as Watson Rugolo were honing in. A rush behind to the Eagles to start off this final term.
Peter Fiacci certainly had a great second half. He's been getting plenty of the footy and again was looking dangerous there. And now see Knights chop that off, ready to have a shot at goal.
That's it. Right on the mark.
Again, we've mentioned he's a beautiful kick. Difficult angle under a bit of pressure, the young fellow. He'd certainly like to get this one through to put the guys in front or get the guys closer early in this last quarter.
Knights already with 2 to his name this afternoon. Can really punish South Adelaide for a mistake, and he does. Not. Big reaction, you took it from the crowd, I'm sorry.
I was with you, I thought he'd kick that as well, but again, he's going to be a great young player, but unfortunately didn't get that one through for the Eagles at this stage.
What's the betting on a long kick?
Well, this will be interesting. We look at the zone that Pyman was talking about to make sure the guys are out that bit further, which certainly has allowed them to clog that up again rather than the Eagles get a run out.
Chris Knight's missing not an easy goal. It's tough from there, but he was on the right side for a left footer and couldn't steer it through. Fresh air shot by Lindsay. All of players around the football. Clark with those big tentacles. Smith just jammed it on the boot. Stokes hasn't had the best of days. Mackenzie's been okay. Rush kick. Daly couldn't trap it. Smith chopped off by Stokes and then cut off again by Smith. So it's a real toe-to-toe battle. Tucky at the back couldn't hang on to it. Didn't want to punch. Wigley. Handball over the top. Ball kicked forward. Watts, normally dangerous. How can he use it? He goes back to Wigley. He doesn't kick many goals, Wigley, so he decides to go for a short kick to Rugolo. Oh, Nadel couldn't do anything about said, you're not taking it off me.
Been a great move by Ronnie Fuller, putting Rugolo up there. He's caused some hassles, leads hard, strong body too. He's got strong legs, so he can hold out an eagle there, lining up for a goal.
And he steers it through. Great work by Vinny Rugolo. He's got his second, 15 goals for the season. And they come a little bit closer, the Eagles.
Well, they've certainly had all the momentum this quarter. Watts, good hand pass out wide. Then it was finding the play, a hard leading Rugolo, but right with him now. Couldn't do anything there. It finished off with a goal. It's a strong body that can hold him out and take that mark as well.
Rugolo, leading goal kicker last season for the Eagles with 38. Margin 5 points in favour of South Adelaide. And they've led all afternoon as Davis gets held up in the middle.
Top ball getters for South at this stage. Scott McGlone with 24, including 15 in the third quarter. Clinton King 23 and Michael Davis 20. And for the Eagles, Knights and Sikalala have each had 21 and Fiachi the same.
Sikalala is 22nd possession, just scrambles the ball forward. Now they crowd in again. Will we see a lot of this in the final quarter? Newbury tried to get a hand pass out. South Adelaide desperate. And the Eagles certainly matching them in this final term. Umpire Richard Williams steps in.
See, Robert Pyman's made the move. He's put Hately across onto Rugolo. Against, doesn't look like a perfect match, but he's got to certainly try to curtail his influence.
Free kick to Sikalala, or rather free kick to Colville, I should say. And Nagel, that man, is the offender. Goes looking for Rugolo on the lead in space. Josh King couldn't take it. Bennett crashed in, play on. Bennett now over it again. Umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt. Peter Williams this time. The umpire taking possession. Jared Bennett. Been very impressive at the club since he came here a couple of seasons ago. Runner-up in the best and fairest last season for South Adelaide as the Eagles work hard again. Couple of slick handballs in close. Colville just puts it up there again. Punch came from Hately, did well. Knights did just as well. Turns it around. The bounce will take it through for the minor score. Quickly across to Benny Knights at Norwood. And Benny's scoring the final quarter now. Well, we were hoping to get Ben. Obviously, we're not getting Ben at the moment. Brett James just sending his side forward. And Meeson with the snap. And he's just kicked a goal, so maybe a steadier for Norwood at the parade. And that big man, Johnny Meeson, very important for them this afternoon.
Here's Stephen Kenner on a really long run. He's had about 5 bounces and chips it in short and finds the target in Tucky. He's in front of Stephen Hall, and he was thinking about a handball, Brent Tucky. But probably Nick just needs to go back and slot this one. That will mean the Eagles will need 2 goals before they head them off.
Well, every time the Eagles have come at South, they have got that steadier, and this is the opportunity for them to do it again. It's certainly a very hard kick from that tight angle, and he's been providing a fair target from Tucky across the half-forward line.
Hasn't kicked a goal today. Tucky lines them up and puts it across the face. It's only behind. 5 points the difference in favour of the Panthers. Rob Pyman, the vagaries of coaching. How would you like to be a coach? He's got nice black hair there at the moment, but yeah, gee, another few more years in the caper.
I'm sure it'll be going greyer, and he's got a few headaches ahead of him yet today, I think, too.
Stokes with the kick in, good skills. Found Colville as skipper. Quickly off to Powell. Powell being pursued. Great tackle and pursued by Davis. Comes to Colville again. Wouldn't try that again. That was the torpedo off the instep of the foot. At half-back, Hately off to Hall. A thumping left foot kick is Hall. He goes inside half-forward looking for the lead of Tucky. Comes to the front. 2 of the South Adelaide players, including Parry there, just overrunning the ball. Now Powell for the Eagles. And Smith intercepting. He's been quiet in the third quarter, but he had a great first half off to Fleming. And then Daly, who boots it long, looking for a marking target. Warren was there, but Stokes, the smallest man in the pack, pulls across and takes a nice mark. And Matthew Stokes just takes his time, recruited from the Northern Territory. And his kick just wasn't the best of Knights, who, of course, as I said, come across from the Eastern Rangers in the under-18 Victorian competition this season to join the Eagles via the Adelaide Football Club. Ronnie Fuller with a bit of a swig on the coke there. He's keeping his energy levels up. Lindsay fell across, I thought Clark. It's play on, King over the ball for South Adelaide. Emerging with Smith, turns around, kicks it up towards the 50. Where's Tucky? You'd back him in a pack, but the ball comes to the front. Powell wants to clear it. Dangerous hand pass. Floriani was taken to ground. Finally, it comes to Colville. Scrambles the kick into the centre. Nagel, hand pass off. Smith, half forward was Davis. Kicked 5 goals when these teams last met at the Woodville Oval. Davis takes his time. Tucky makes his way back to the goal square. That's where Benny Warren is. Warren now on the lead. Tucky says, I'll have it long. He goes to Warren and Colville cuts him off.
Been good, Colville, in this last term.
Michael, just, yes, 10 possessions, sorry, 5 possessions this quarter.
5 possessions of the quarter. Went short to Stephen Hall. Your prediction, Ian Mogridge, of a 78-point win to who?
The Eagles, they've still got time.
Supreme optimist. You thought I forgot about that one, Ian. Taken by Stokes, who finds Watts. He knows the urgency. He's got to get it on quickly. He's come unstuck, though. Tried to get it to Simmons. Ball jars free. They throw themselves in. Kings there. Floriani Fleming, who's back running okay after that injury in the last term. No one can grab the football. It's a mad scramble. Good umpiring, though. Just let them go. See who can break it. And this is Wigley. Wigley kicks it high. Inkster's there. Ball thumped away by McGlone. Sikalella tried to knock it on. So too, Nagel tried to go off the ground. This time grabbed the footy, got it away. Kenner, taken by Peter Fiacci. Good tackle, Kenner. Turnover comes. Hately hooked it around the body. Now Fleming's got to go back. Taken by Floriani. He just had to release to get a free kick. Advantage rule paid to the lumbering Lindsay, who kicks it right to the head of King. Ball knocked away, taken by Forster Knight. Good work, Panthers. They work it out to the back to Hately. Hately's got trying to get it to Kenner. In the end, he just squeezes out a kick. He should have gone to Kenner. Marked by Fiacci. Fiacci kicks it long. Who can take a mark? No one. Ball hits the deck. South defence has been okay. And who's the player underneath that lot for the Eagles? Nagel on top. Ron Fuller sees the funny side of that. A wry grin. He knows his side is pushing forward. Westbrook and Sikalella at the bottom of that pack. There's Sikalella. No one can take possession. Taken by Clark. Oh, gee, the handball. Stokes! Steps a goal! Eagles are in front for the first time in the match, and that pleases Ron Fuller. What a snap, Matty Stokes. And South have got some work to do.
Well coached by Ronnie Fuller. Obviously, as Soda said, Stokes may have an injury. He's used him well today. This is the sort of thing he can come in and do, have a real impact and may win the game for you in the end. But that was a great little snap. Didn't have a lot of time or a lot of space. But got the footy, knew where the goals were. He's probably done it 1,000 times of footy training there on this oval. But it's got the Eagles in front for the first time for the day.
Matthew Stokes missed rounds 4 to 7 with a hamstring injury. He's back on the side today and he's kicked his 15th goal of the season. It's put the Eagles in front. It's put South Adelaide to the test. Here's King breaking from the middle. He won't have the distance with the kick. Falling back, Hall takes a nice mark. And the ball released to McKenzie. Goes in turn to Inkster. Can go short to Rugolo. Rugolo at half back. Looks up, he's called to play on. Great tackle, Fleming had to release the ball. King's got players loose inside 50. Goes back to Hall. Hall in turn goes for Warren. Falling across, McKenzie did brilliantly. Now he can gather on the ground. Steady, takes his time. On centre wing, he's got a player in Treby. Misjudged it, came to Kenner. Kenner approached and held on to. Umpire called play on. It looked like Kenner got one high as he was crouched over the ball. Pretty relaxed, Robbie Pyman, actually, you would say. South Adelaide falling behind for the first time in this match. They're down by 2 points. The Panthers were out. Their biggest margin was 21 points in the middle stages of the second term. And they've been run down at the moment by the Eagles. And there are a couple of players feeling the pinch. And their Hall is one of them.
They're still working really hard around the footy, though, South, and they're still looking all right. So, you know, everything's going all right for Pyman. He just needs to make sure he's in front when the siren goes at the end of the day.
It's just a small matter of being in front at the end of the day.
Vinnie Rugolo gave the Eagles a spark in that third term. Now he's been moved onto the ball, so Ronnie used him up forward. Now he wants them to make that impact there in the centre of the ground.
And how's Chris Knights? Sodas, just having a spell?
He's okay, yeah, he's just having a bit of a rest. No problems at all with injury there. So he's on the phone right as we speak, so he could be getting a message to come back on.
Mark Soderstrom on the boundary for ABC Television Sport as Powell kicks from half back. Clark spills over the back to Colville, who's been outstanding in this final turn. The skipper is standing up, so too the vice-captain. Running with a flight, Justin Sikalala caught one around the ear. And that's what winning tight games is all about, leadership.
Well, that was just great commitment, and he had to keep running at it, but he was running pretty hard. He knew there were bodies coming at him, and he certainly deserved to get the free kick there. He's always a very committed player. Knew it was coming, and it was a bit untidy in the end there.
This would bring the house down if Sikalala can snag this from 45 metres out on a slight angle. Supremely confident man, Justin Sikalala. Wonderful player. Gives it a fair old ride. It's across the face of goal. No one can take the mark. Inkster's kick is smothered. Good work by the South defence. Didn't quite get all of that. Sikalala, and Fleming was the man with the smother. Thanks, Neil Cross.
A great smother. They're the sort of things that win your games as well. So both teams doing all the little 1%ers at the moment.
3 points the margin. McGlone, who Moggy has had plenty and then some on the ball.
As Neil, that's 25 possessions for him today.
Drives to half-back. Well, picked up by Daly. Got the hand pass out. Might have been Hall, in fact. Ball on the ground now as Daly hovers and get a ball up. Nagel, in fact, number 25. I'll get my numbers and names right in a moment as umpire Tony Day comes in. Get a ball up, 70 metres from the Eagles' goal. Clark, well, he tapped it forward. Colville off the left foot, and holding a decision goes to Josh King. And Peter Williams was in there quickly to call that. So King will have a chance to kick his first of the afternoon. Jared Bennett arguing.
Now I saw your hold.
Peter Williams suggesting, I saw your hold. I don't know what else went on, but I did see your hold.
Nah, well, we part we see, Benno.
Josh King, who's taken a big run up.
Right out wide. That wide. No, they're right.
This to extend the margin to 9 points. 8 points, in fact, according to the scoreboard. And King kicks it. And the margin is out to 8 points.
It's frustrating for Bennett here. It'll be interesting to have a good look at it again. Didn't certainly look like there was a lot in it from what we saw there, where there was a bit more hanging on before that. But if that's all it was, he's probably got a fair reason to have a bit of a chat to the umpire and find out what went wrong. But Clark's come off there now, so a change of ruck.
Just on a rotation, Mark. He looks okay.
Yeah, he's okay. He's come off, and Mark Miller's pushed up to full forward, taken O'Hara with him.
Some of those 50-50 umpiring decisions can turn games. Who says umpires can't affect the result of the game? Hall kicks it forward to Kenner, who's got to do some tough work here. He's got a bit of pace, no doubt. Uses Chris Hall. Hall will kick it long. He's hoping for a mark. Warren's in the middle of that, so too Tucky. King's there. Floriani, who's been outstanding. King goes to ground. Cop one around the ear. He's still down. No one can get their kick away. Floriani ducked the head again. The handball out to Inkster. Eagles defending grandly. Only as far as Chris Hall, who's right on the 50. It'll take every sinew bursting for him to get it from here. Chris Hall. Tired legs. He's just going to kick it to the pocket looking for Warren, and it just doesn't come off. Dribbles across the line. Didn't think he could make it go, Ian.
Just on the umpiring, Michael, halfway through the first quarter, the South had 6 free kicks to the Eagles 1. Since then, the Eagles have had 22-7.
Big turnaround. There's a changeover. Colville and Knights. Colville outstanding in the first half of this last term. Boundary throw in. Panthers need a goal. Miller's going to get a free kick, is he? Or was it a throw? It's against him. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, gee. I think the look on your face tells it all, Nick. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen at home. A look of disgust. Chiachi kicks to a packed situation. No free kick to King. McKenzie got it to Wigley. Wigley kicks it high. Knights and Daly. Spills to Rugolo. Bit of class coming to the fore here at the moment. Cicolella. There's all class. He looks for Simmons, but not a good kick. But Simmons just ducks back okay, and Newbury takes him to ground. And the Eagles go forward again through Simmons.
Simmons goes for King on the lead. Bennett had the better of him, got him away from the ball. Now it's a foot race. Rugolo should kick it around the corner. The bounce is good on the Eagles. They're flying high.
Well, he certainly had a fair impact on the game in his second half, Vinny Rugolo. He got it through the midfield here initially. That's his third goal, and doesn't come at a better time for the Eagles. Read it beautifully off the pack, stayed front and centre until he saw it went over the back. Then just kicked it around the body beautifully. So he's running hard, obviously pretty fit at the moment because he's worked hard this second half and is having a real impact on the game.
And that man right there set it all up for them. Showed some leadership of the highest order. Back in the centre, Lindsay decides to thump it 35 metres. Watts collects the footy. All running hot for the Eagles at the moment. Watts goes to King, but lovely mark taken by McGlone. Easily their best player, the Panthers. McGlone from half-back. On the overlap is Parry. And Lindsay does okay to hold him off. This is where Parry gets a bit undisciplined. But there's a 25-metre penalty, for goodness sakes. Well, let's just let them umpire and do their job. Just held on just a fraction long, maybe. Parry goes into the pocket. Tucky tries to collect the football. There's Wigley, one of the hard workers, taken by Clinton King. King squeezes it to Warren. Oh, couldn't take the mark. Picked up by Hall. From half-back, Hall's kicks a scrubby old thing, but it's marked by Simmons at half-back. Eagles lead the contest by 14 points. I don't know whether that's right either. My maths has been shocking this afternoon. Ball toward the boundary. Newbury and Knights. Knights just fists it forward. And there's a free kick off the ball. And it goes against an Eagles player. I think it's against Rugolo. It'll go to Newbury. Just for a bit of a nudge and knocked him to ground.
Well, Vinny might be getting a bit excited. That certainly wasn't necessary.
Getting all fired up. Miller in the centre of the ground. Taken by Miller and booted long. He's hoping for a tucky mark. He can't take it. Here's Fleming. He's been pushed forward. Here's Kenner. He normally knows them from here. Kenner kicks. A lovely goal on the run. Panthers are still in the game. And it's on at half-back, and the notebooks come out. And Matthew Stokes has gone in it, has he?
I think you're right there, Michael. I think he has. But how damaging is that? Rugolo's done so much hard work for the team to really get the Eagles back in front. And then a stupid free kick like that allows South to run down. As you can see, there's a bit of not much damage being done there. Oh, a little one there that might have hurt a bit, but there was just a bit of push and shove.
Well, on that evidence, it'd be interesting to try and argue against that decision. Colville coming back on to show some leadership that perhaps Rugolo didn't. Ronnie Fuller reacted quickly, ball in dispute in the middle, and a bit more push and shove. That's just that goal from Kenner, just the second goal in the second half for South Adelaide.
And that's a tough one. Like, Ronnie Fuller had to take him off there because it cost him a goal in a really critical stage of the game. He's been so fantastic this last half, though.
Smith, hand pass too severe. Ball in dispute on the ground again. Working hard, the Eagles. Umpire Tony Day quick to blow the whistle this time. Seen it go on a few times, but not this time. And, gee, I wonder what he's on the phone about.
Well, Neil, I can hear Vinny's actually pleading his case to Ronnie. But Ronnie's certainly not having a bar of it, and obviously he's going to have to sit down and have a good hard think about that.
Is it the Hall of Mirrors, perhaps?
Would be time to have a good look, wouldn't it?
Hard look at himself. Ball down again. And this is all good for the Eagles. Ronnie Fuller might be upset with that man in Vinny Rugolo, but interesting body language between the two. But Nevertheless, the Eagles have an 8-point lead, and we're into time on in the final quarter. Still in dispute, ball's just not popping out of there. And they've won their past 5 in a row, the Eagles. Had a down period for a couple of weeks where they lost to North Adelaide and South Adelaide in consecutive weeks. But they're back with a vengeance, and that was like a high tackle. Nevertheless, it's scrambled forward in the direction of O'Hara. Comes to ground. Forster Knight couldn't take it. Watts is swung in the tackle. Play on, called the umpire. Haitley couldn't get a clean hand pass. Clean possession's hard to get out there. Here's Sikalella. He's clever. Squares the ball. Looking for King. From the side came Newberry. King almost. Ball in dispute again. O'Hara, the big man, got the hand pass out. In the end, finally, did they rush it through? They had about 25 players around the ball, South Adelaide. And it's very close here. The margin is 9 points across at Norwood. Big Knights.
Thanks, Neil. Yes, after the first 2 goals this quarter that Port kicked and got within 6 points, Norwood have kicked a few to just steady themselves, and they lead at the moment by 20 points, with Clive Waterhouse just kicking his 4th for the day, but it's Norwood by 20 points with a couple of minutes to go.
Thanks, Ben Knights. Back here at Norwood Oval, Treby got a long kick. O'Hara couldn't take the mark. Oh, Inkster cleaned up off the football. Umpire, did he see it or not? Don't think he did. Treby's got it again as he pumps them just outside 50. Colville in a bit of space. Kenner can't get there in time. We've got the Inkster one. Smith, just a backhander in the mush. But he's okay and running now. Doesn't mind it when the old leather comes towards him. And Inkster, we love to call Tim Inkster. He's an exciting player. And he'll go back and just about put the cue in the rack, I'd say, for the Eagles if he gets this. A little bit of praying going on there, just to
if he gets
try
this,
and get it through.
Certainly going to make it hard for South.
Inkster, 25 goals, 13. Just the one behind this afternoon. It's a helicopter. It's touched through, touched on the line. Eagles by 10 points. Didn't really get it all that well, Tim Inkster. He'd be disappointed with that.
Off the boot, it looked terrible. Not a good move. O'Hara going forward again has certainly caused a bit of havoc for South and provided a good target for the Eagles to hit in long.
Ticked over 25 minutes in the final quarter as Nagel brings the ball in long. They've got no choice now. Nice mark taken by Bennett. Can square it quickly to the middle. Haitley's running in space. That's the direction he goes. Haitley in turn can keep switching because running through the middle, South have the numbers. He goes to centre half forward. He was looking for King perhaps. King now should get first to the crumb. Westbrook chasing hard and coming late was Floriani. And Floriani desperately gets the ball across the boundary line. Well done by John Floriani. He's been very good this afternoon. Had the assignment in the back pocket. For a long time, he was on Elwyn Davey. Tested the hamstrings and pretty much everything else with Davey, but he was good. Sikalella's been great. Sikalella towards Watts and Forster Knight. It's play on. Sikalella, or rather Colville running through. Gets it to Knights. And in the background, the siren's gone. Or has it? I'll tell you what, it's all over. I think they could do some work on the siren here at the Woodville Oval, but it has gone. And the Eagles have won. They've come from behind brilliantly to win this one by 10 points. 11-15, 81. South Adelaide, 10-11, 71. A crushing disappointment, you would think, Chiggy, for South Adelaide, and you can see that reflected in the body language out there.
And a very short quarter too, around about the 26 minutes.
Exactly, and South, because they led most of the day. So, again, you can't write off the Eagles, can you? We've seen it happen quite often this year where they just keep working hard through the game. It has been publicised they're a bit of a slow starting team, but they certainly keep working and win the game.
And Vinnie Rugolo, one of the heroes and then a villain, is down with Mark Soderstrom on the field.
Well, thanks, Neil. Vinny, you gave them a huge start, but it took a while to wear them down. You got there.
It's spirit of the boys this year. We just keep fighting in there and just keep finding a way to win, and we just got to keep doing it.
At half-time, did Ronnie put it on you to go up forward and really just provide a target and spark the boys?
Not really, just everyone's got to make their part and play their part, and that's what we all did. Everyone played their part in the second half, and that's why we got up.
Vinny, run me through what happened at the end there. Did you just get a little bit excited?
Yeah, must have been a bit excited, but got to be disciplined in that act.
And what did Ron say to you on the phone? We saw you having a fair chat to him.
No, just let me know that I've got to be disciplined and not let the team down.
Well, Vinny, well done. You kicked 3 goals and sparked the boys beautifully after half-time.
Cheers, Sodas. Thanks.
A very contrite Vinny Rugolo there, and a battered South Adelaide outfit just unable to get across the line. You wonder what's going through Robbie Pyman's mind. The Eagles of Gain have shown their ability to come from behind. They've won their 10th game of the season. They are on top of the ladder, and they are the team to beat in 2005.
They certainly are the team to beat. Robert Pyman would be... He'd know that they're not far away from it, though, South. They had some really good signs there today. I think across the back line where you got McGlone and Hately, a couple of young guys who were fantastic today. Their midfield, I thought, was good in South. But you've got to take your hat off to Eagles, and particularly Sikalella there. He was fantastic today. He kept the guys in it. And I think one who probably didn't call a lot but had a great game was Hall, who also was very, very good. And Warren not getting many goals at all. A couple, I think, for the day.
Sikalella very important. He was so important, I was calling Colville Sikalella at one stage as we just looked through the quarter-by-quarter scores. It was South Adelaide by 14 at quarter time. They stretched it to 18 at half-time, and they still led by 13 points at three-quarter time. But the important figure there is they only managed to kick 2 goals in the second half of football, and the Eagles overran them to win by 10 points. As we go down to the rooms, as they're just preparing to belt out their song, and I think any time you come from behind in that situation, you enjoy it. And I'll look through those goal-kicking stats with Vinny Rugolo kicking 3 and Chris Knights 2, Dale Simmons with 2. They're the multiple goal kickers for the Eagles. And on the Panthers side of the ledger, Clinton King with 3, Stephen Kenner with 2, and Benny Warren with 2, the leading goal kicker still in the competition.
Certainly hurt them when Warren had to come off, when Passador came off the ground for the Eagles. That made a bit of a difference there, but Rugolo came in and stepped up and was certainly a big force in the second half for them.
And in the end, the inside 50s were pretty close. Look, it was a great match, wasn't it?
It was. Everything there's pretty close. The centre breaks, you see, South still did well, but everything else is pretty close, as the score suggests.
Well, you'd expect it too. First versus third, you'd expect that we were going to get a tough contest. The Eagles have certainly shown their mettle, and as I said, they are the team to beat. I don't think there's any question about that.
There's no question about that, and that's why South can go away half happy thinking that they've pushed the team that was going to be the team to beat for the grand final on their home deck and led for most of the day, and there were some really promising signs there as well, but there's no doubt they'll be disappointed.
Across to Norwood, Benny Knights, you've been watching all afternoon. The Redlegs have steadied and managed to go on and win.
Well, they did, Neil. They had to steady because, like I said, Port got within 6 points at about the 5th minute mark of that last quarter. Norwood in the end, 16 goals, 12, 108. Defeated Port Adelaide, 14 goals, 10, 94. So 14 points, the difference in the end at Norwood Oval. The goal kickers for Norwood, Vlatko with 3, Scott Borlace, Robbie Neal, Matt Dawes, Yeomans and Massey with 2 apiece. For Port Adelaide, Clive Waterhouse finished with 4, Jeremy Clayton with 3, Waite and Surgeon with 2 apiece. And they really came at Norwood in that second half, and John Carl's got something to take away from it. That first half, he certainly won't be very happy. You can see the last quarter highlights here. Port Adelaide early, but then Norwood steady with those last few goals, and really by about the 15-minute mark, it didn't look as though Port were going to be able to get over the top of Norwood.
And Ben, did they come again, though? Because you said it was, 6 points the margin, then Norwood steadied, and in the end, though, they only won by 14 points, so Port Adelaide come again?
Oh, they did, but it was really the first 5 minutes of that last quarter where they kicked those 2 goals and got within 6 points. and I thought they were going to run over the top of Nord. But then Nord, I said they steadied, they kicked 3 or 4 goals. Port had one here and there and really just didn't look as though they were ever going to get in front. So as soon as they got to 6 points, Nord steadied with a couple, put it back out to 18, 24 points, and it didn't get much within that 14 points. That was, you know, Port kicked the last goal and got within 14 points at the end there.
Jeremy Clayton, outstanding.
The best players that I thought for Nord, Blackgo up 4 was excellent. Scott Borlace, Brett James, James Gallagher and Chris Massey. Whereas for Port Adelaide, Jeremy Clayton, Scott Stevens, Anthony Brown and Clive Waterhouse tried hard across centre half forward all day.
Ben, thanks for all that. 14 points to margin in that game between Port Adelaide and Nord. The Redlegs home at the Parade. And here it was the Eagles over South Adelaide, and the winning coach is Ronnie Fuller, and he's with Sodas.
Well, thanks, Neil. Ronnie, you really had to grind out a win there.
We did, Mark. That's a good sign, I think, that we did tough it out. There's a lot of things we can get out of today because there's a lot of guys that just weren't their self. But as I said, pretty proud of the way they toughed it out.
One thing you mentioned before was Colville and also Ciccalella. Their leadership was outstanding.
Was outstanding. Gavin cramped up in the third quarter and it was looking ominous, but he found something in his last quarter was great, and so was Sicca. They really led the way in the last quarter. One
thing I noticed today, a lot of changes on and off the ground with players and rotations. Was it just getting the matchups right for both sides, you felt?
A lot of them were due to they had the tall forward and our tall in our forward line, so we just had to get the balance that way. We went in a little bit short anyway. Losing Joe the last couple of weeks has just left us a bit vulnerable with height in the back half, so it was a bit of a balancing act. A few guys were struggling early just to get running, and we just wanted to ignite it that way a little bit too.
Well, Ronnie, well done today. Just keeps you a little bit clearer up there on the top of the ladder. Great effort.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah.
Ronnie Fuller, no big smiles or celebrations though, is there? He knows, I guess, the biggest test for the Eagles is the finals, let's face it.
It is, and there is that concern about the start. You know, they have been slow starting throughout the year, so that's something they've got to address as well.
Right, scores from all the other grounds now. Norwood, as we know, by 14 points over Port Adelaide. It was Central's, actually it's still in play, but I think we know the result because Central's leading by 116 points over North Adelaide at Prospect, and Sturt, Ian Mogridge jumping for joy in the background by 18 points. Settle down, Chiggy. Go back to your corners. Sturt by 18 points over the Tigers, I should say it only. Next week, let's look forward to what we're going to see next week. It'll be on Saturday afternoon, our match of the day. One last hurrah for the Tigers against North Adelaide to see if the Tigers can stay in the premiership race. West Adelaide playing South Adelaide. Norwood against Sturt. That will be a fascinating contest as well. And then on Sunday, Eagles versus Port Adelaide, with Centrals having the bye. Thanks for your company this afternoon. Chicky's been our expert here, but it was Benny Knights across at the Norwood Oval. Thanks, Ben, for your time. As we know, it was 14-point victory there for the Norwood Football Club. They'll be celebrating. The Eagles will be very happy as well. They got home in the end by 10 points. Thanks for your company this afternoon.